The story of Exodus begins not with a bang, but with a groan.
Generations after Joseph had brought his family to the fertile lands of Egypt, a new, ruthless Pharaoh rose to power. He saw not the blessing of their numbers, but a threat, and with a chilling fear, he decreed a brutal solution, the enslavement of the Israelites, forcing them into back-breaking labor. His cruelty deepened with an unthinkable order. Every newborn Hebrew boy was to be drowned in the Nile. The air was thick with the cries of an oppressed people, a symphony of suffering that seemed to echo unanswered. Yet, even in the darkest shadows, hope finds a way. A tiny, vulnerable life, named Moses, was secretly placed in a basket among the reeds, a silent prayer launched onto the waters. By a miraculous twist of fate, he was discovered by Pharaoh's own daughter and raised within the very walls of the palace that sought to destroy his people. This unlikely beginning set the stage for a dramatic turning point. Years later, after fleeing Egypt, Moses encountered the divine in a desert wilderness, a bush ablaze with fire, yet unconsumed. There, God, in his awe-inspiring presence, called Moses, a humble shepherd, to a monumental task, to confront the world's most powerful ruler and demand freedom for a nation in chains. Moses, initially hesitant, returned to Egypt, his brother Aaron by his side. Their message to Pharaoh was simple, yet revolutionary: let my people go. But Pharaoh's heart was a fortress of arrogance, unyielding to their pleas. What followed was a series of 10 terrifying plagues, each a devastating act of God's power, systematically dismantling Pharaoh's will and exposing the weakness of Egypt's false gods. The Nile turned to blood, frogs swarmed, darkness consumed the land, culminating in the chilling final plague where the firstborn of every Egyptian family perished. But for the Israelites, there was a different kind of night. Commanded by God to mark their doorframes with the blood of a sacrificed lamb, they observed the first Passover. As the angel of death swept through Egypt, it passed over their homes, a divine promise of protection fulfilled. This pivotal moment, the sacrifice of the Passover lamb, foreshadowed a far greater deliverance to come, Jesus Christ, the ultimate Lamb of God, whose shed blood would rescue humanity from the bondage of sin and death, forever. With his nation shattered, Pharaoh finally, reluctantly, released the Israelites. Their freedom, however, was immediately tested. Pharaoh, consumed by regret and rage, pursued them with his mighty army. Trapped between the Red Sea and a charging host, despair threatened to swallow them whole. Then, the impossible happened. God, in an electrifying display of power, split the vast waters of the sea, creating a dry pathway for his people to walk through. As Pharaoh's chariots plunged into the seabed, the mighty walls of water crashed back, engulfing them entirely. The roar of the waves became the triumphant anthem of a people truly, definitively free. Their desert journey was a crucible of faith. Thirst gnawed, hunger cried out, but God, their faithful provider, never abandoned them. He sent miraculous manna, bread from heaven, to sustain them, and water from a solid rock, to quench their thirst. Their pilgrimage led them to the foot of Mount Sinai, a place shrouded in thunder, lightning, and the very presence of God. Here, atop the thundering peak, God carved out a sacred covenant, giving Moses the 10 Commandments, the bedrock of their new national identity and the moral compass for a liberated people. He provided intricate laws, meticulously shaping them into a holy nation, set apart for His divine purpose. Yet, even with God's awe-inspiring presence so near, human weakness prevailed. While Moses communed with God on the mountaintop, the people, impatient and fearful, swayed Aaron to forge a golden calf, bowing down to a visible idol. God's righteous anger flared, threatening their very existence. But Moses, standing in the breach, pleaded passionately for his people, and God, in His profound mercy, relented, re-establishing His sacred covenant. The story culminates in a magnificent act of devotion, the construction of the tabernacle. Guided by God's precise blueprints, the Israelites meticulously built this portable sanctuary, a sacred dwelling place for the Almighty. And as the final piece was set, a glorious cloud, the very presence of the Lord, descended, filling the tabernacle. Just as this radiant glory filled the tabernacle, symbolizing God's desire to dwell intimately with His people, Jesus Christ later became the ultimate God with us, Emmanuel. He lived among us, a living tabernacle, making it possible for all humanity to enter into an intimate, personal relationship with God, forever. The book closes with God leading His redeemed people, His presence powerfully guiding them toward the promised land, a testament to His unwavering commitment to rescue, restore, and reside with His own.